Oh, I'm right here. I've been here all along. How's it going, everybody? Sound is excellent on my end, and if it's not on your end, I can't help you. I don't know what to say. It is Thursday. Let's take a look here. What do we got on deck? Let me get this situated. Close a bunch of stuff here. If you want me to look at anything, just let me know. And we'll get going. Ba-boom. I got the honey badger on today. It's always a challenge. I gotta remember, what did I wear last week? Can I just wear that again? Is that okay? Am I gonna get made fun of and bullied? The hodl hat is easy. Hodl hat stays on till cycle's over. And otherwise we just rock on. Let's take a look at Trump, why not? I sound too good, says Joey. Too good. Well, you know, across the board, I don't think there's too much going on. BTC consolidating. Every day above 100K is a good day. My bearishness is gone. It is washed over me. It is cleansed. The moment we bounced out of 90, I got extremely less bearish. Up until that point, yeah, I was turbo bearish. Not cycle over bearish, but not bullish in the near term. But that has gone. I have forgiven myself for being bearish, and we're at 100K. We're at 105, 103, 102, whatever. Looks good to me. I still see upside risk. We still have regulatory stuff coming. I don't care if it's a reserve or not. We're going to get increasing levels of clarity here. We've already got Trump yapping about bringing rates down, which if he wants to bring rates down, inflation's going to spike, most likely. Unemployment's already going to probably go up because of the cutting of the government jobs, which is necessary. So it's going to be it's going to be a very interesting year, a very interesting 4 years. I don't have TDS. I'm just telling you how I think it is. We certainly need the unemployment rate up if we want government jobs cut. If we want the debt dealt with, we need government jobs cut. End of story. It's a drop in the bucket, but it's a start. It's a start. As far as the coin, I don't know, outside of the first 12 hours it was trading, first 24 maybe, first 18, what else is left? Like, look, over time this can do well like DJT can, but I don't know. You know, a lot of this is my issue with the whole meme coin thing, is because it's all just a pump and dump at the end of the day. They still control 80%, 78% of the supply that's going to be vested or whatever. Who knows, right? Who the hell knows? Nor do I care. Until this has a year of trading history, it's just irrelevant to me. I could care less. This can go to 80, it can go to 10. It doesn't really matter to me. Just because I mentioned it, let me check what DJT is doing. DJT had a huge bounce. It's funny that I don't see many people comparing DJT to the Trump meme. I don't know. You know, what is there to do here? I don't know. Is there a trade here? I guess you're hoping for Elon to buy it and merge with Twitter. I don't know what the setup is here exactly. But anyway, that's Trump. Melania. Melania. Oh man, you know, I feel bad for people, but at the same time, you need to touch the stove and get burned to understand that maybe this stuff isn't the way to make all the wealth and riches you thought it would be, you know? Thanks, Kolshi. Yeah, we can check the dominance chart. Dominance is so funny. I don't think they have that on Kraken yet. I've asked them to implement that, but dominance The funny thing about dominance is you've got people, I'm not saying this is you, Pradeep, but you've got people all the way up denying dominance. They just see what they want to see. They deny dominance has any strength at all. It's alt season every other week. And then at the top, or some interim slowdown period, everybody's like searching for something. What about this is bearish? Like it had a brief breakdown, and really you're not really hoping, if you're an altcoin maxi, you're really not hoping for a broad rally. You're hoping for individual things to rally. It's harder to pick which of those winners will be winners, obviously. But if everything moves at the same time in a span of a couple months and then it's over, to me, that's harder to figure out than, okay, this chart looks better than this chart. Sol better than ETH here. ETH better than virtually nothing, right? That, to me, as like the stock picker, is better than, okay, everything's just going nuts. I think people want dominance to fall because they don't own any Bitcoin. They mostly own alts, and they've been underperforming for a couple of years. I think that's why there's this dominance obsession. But as long as we are above the, the 200 week, we can look around. That's the 50, the 200. I mean, here you go. This is the 600 day. Is that right? Just pop on your favorite moving averages on this bad boy. See how it backtests. If it's noisy, go up a time frame. That might be the, let's see, let's turn this on. There we go. This is the 50, well, it's the 100, 400 daily or the 5200 on the 2-day. What about this is, if this was a chart that was tradable, nothing about this is bearish. We bounced at the 400-day moving average. We're back above the 100-day moving average. And asked specifically about head and shoulders. I don't see that there. I don't know. It doesn't feel time. When we're talking, if we make it to the end of 2025, when we get all these potential ETFs coming down the pipe, then you may see some sort of relative value move. But we only have Bitcoin ETFs for the most part. ETH ETFs nobody cares about. Bitcoin ETFs continue to see 1 to 2 billion a week in inflows. It's going to be hard to outcompete that when most altcoin exchanges can't get connected to banks. Okay, so their liquidity mechanism is stablecoins. So unless we're seeing tons of stablecoin prints, this is why I talk about this on the altcoin video. Unless we see a ton of stablecoin prints, it's just going to be hard for alts to keep up. Here's stablecoins. Now we have seen USDC pick up in a big way, which is great for the ecosystem. But like, look at this list of alts, right? This is a drop in the bucket to everything on the down to page 56 on CoinMarketCap. There's just not enough money in the ecosystem. There's an infinite amount of permanently forever emitting tokens, and there's just not enough money that wants to buy it. It's just hard to keep this stuff up unless there's some near-term event to do so. I mean, the Trump microcosm is a great example. Like, people made their money initially and that's it, they're done. What else is there to do? This is most alts at the end of the day, unless there's continuous announcements or some sort of utility or something going on. What is there to do? What's up, Jeremy? Stablecoin regulation is equally, if not more important. I agree, it's very important for dollar dominance globally. What I think we will see that we don't want to see is Tether kicked out of US exchanges. I think they'll just make it impossible for Tether to comply, and Tether will just say, okay, see you later. Coinbase is already ready to chuck them off the exchange. Kraken, if they had to, they probably would as well. So I hope we don't see that, but Circle probably has lobbyists in places that Tether does not, is my guess. So, you know, that's a really one-sided argument from a lobbyist perspective. But hey, we'll see. We do have the Cantor Fitzgerald guy in the administration, so maybe that'll be enough to keep Tether in the U.S. Your job is literally not to go broke until BTC dominance starts nuking. I mean, I agree with you, CJ. I don't know, like, Total 2 is another one that we look at. Total 2, my God, that ETH BTC chart is just brutal. Total 2 looks okay here, but if today is a trade, if you had to take a trade today, what do? Buy, sell, or hold? I don't see anything like pressing that says this is a great setup here right now today. I would love to see this consolidate and break that 1.5 trillion, billion, whatever it is, 1.5 billion level. There is a bit of a bullish divergence here with stable prints and Total 2, specifically USDC. For me, there's this idea that USDC is not currency, it's crypto native stuff. Tether is more of a currency globally than USDC. So to see the USDC prints rising should be bullish for crypto, should be bullish for where that's going. It's going to Solana. So this is good. And we saw this, I guess we didn't quite, if we line this up, the last time we had a breakout here was basically when the cloud broke out, right? If we look at the levels. So I would call this a bullish divergence here for Total 2 based on stable prints. Looking at the last time, I think it was similar. I could be wrong. I'm just trying to see if there's a correlation between stablecoin supply increasing. Yeah, so even down here, stablecoin supply was increasing with Total 2. Total 2 includes stables, so whatever, but at least I think it does. Anyway, alts here. I think you have to expect some underperformance until we get regulatory clarity on DeFi and tokens and securities and whatever else, right? Thanks, Foo. When you see Ty Lopez vids getting pushed on YouTube, sell. It's not a bad idea. I saw him. Who was he interviewing? Was he interviewing Sailor? And I was like, well, how? Why? Who cares? Very odd combo there. Okay, so that's the most important chart, obviously, for most people. Trump. BTC. BTC. As a few people pointed out, there is and was something not so pretty here going on. It's low time frame. So if it was a potential diamond or whatever this is, is this a head and shoulders? It could be that too, but that looks failed as well. I'm less concerned with the low time frame stuff. I'm always concerned with anything that goes on the daily. On the daily up here, it doesn't look super exciting, but is there anything to me that looks hyper bearish? Not really. As long as we can hold above 100, we're good. I don't know what this even would be chart pattern wise. I think I had this drawn out. Maybe it's some sort of wedge thing. I don't know. It's just, your guess is as good as mine. And if I can't see anything, doesn't mean there's not something there, but what is there to do here? I don't know. Nothing. Sitting on your hands and wait. Weekly's Joey's choice. What does the weekly tell me? To me, weekly looks fine. I've got no concerns here. As long as we're above the weekly 20 moving average, where is it at? As long as we're above the weekly 20, I'm bullish. High time frame. It's the daily, the intraday stuff that's harder to pick out sometimes. But like last year, we had 9 months of a pretty clear pattern, an eventually clear chart pattern, then the election, the breakout. So up here, I don't know. I don't really see anything in particular that stands out to me for BTC. And if that's the case with BTC in total too, it's probably the case with virtually everything else. So as unexciting as that is, I don't have much of anything chart-wise to really say or do here. It's just sitting at all-time highs. I think what's more interesting is what's going on with the dollar. Again, this is like another type of bullish divergence. Just as there was a bearish divergence on the way up, to be clear, like we should have broken down and we didn't. If dollar continues to fall, we should break up. That's the divergence. If we look at global liquidity, new right scale, back to BTC. If we can hold this while liquidity is rising, that's super bullish. That's again back to like the idea between stablecoins and alts. Global liquidity is what fuels BTC. So if BTC is just chilling around 100, 105, 102, liquidity is refueling the rocket, right? Liquidity looks fine here. Thus far, we didn't break down really in a big way, despite liquidity dropping significantly. So if we do have Trump bringing rates down, tariffs aren't super broad, more targeted and or non-existent, then the dollar should fall. Or if rates come down, the dollar should fall. Just takes time. Cloud's looking good on the daily. Yeah, I agree. As a trade, I don't think there's anything to do, but as a trend, I think we look fine on the daily, weekly. I don't think there's any issues here for BTC. So I like DCA. Personally, I think that's fine. Most people are probably all in up here already. Maybe this is some sort of cup and handle eventually. I don't know. It's just huge chop. We are very, very connected to any tweet or mention or news item. It was BTC popped to 106 plus today on Loomis making an announcement of an announcement, and then the announcement wasn't a reserve, so of course we sold off. Yeah, anyway. Let's look at ETH-BTC because I don't know if I looked at that. I did look at that yesterday. I haven't looked at it today, but my God. My God. My God. It's another one of these like wedges, pukes. To me, the most bullish thing about this is people literally saying, I'm selling all my ETH and leaving. That is unironically bullish because finally we're seeing some capitulation. Finally. At least the people on Twitter that I see. I would love to see, and we're already kind of starting to see it, active validators have so far peaked on ETH. So far. Not forever, but so far. I would love to see a validator queue, an exit queue. Oh man. Then we know. Then we know we're getting closer. Supply staked is just subtly curling down. This is validatorq.com, by the way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this, but I always go to the dash. Man, what was that website? I won't be able to find it. Anyway, there's a graph of the dash, as in Dashcoin validators, that looks similar to this. You have like rises in the validators. They peak and you never see it get back to that level. and it's like off 50% plus, I think, from the highs, at least if that website's accurate. Now, Dash is a bad example because that thing has not really bounced back, but I just want to see some emotion on a metric that makes sense. So we're already seeing on ETH BTC. We're seeing it clearly on the ETF front. Nobody cares about the ETF. Not yet. So, yikes. What's up, Ray? Yikes, yikes, yikes. I also love the infighting with EF, the Ethereum Foundation. Love it. Again, we want people to care. If nobody cares and you're selling off like this, the bottom is zero. Look at Zcash, right? My favorite example. There are probably people here who don't really know what Zcash is. They haven't been here long enough to know. This is the USD chart. It got delisted as the BTC chart, so I can't even show you that. But when you just have years of endless down, that just says most likely this is coin emissions, this is inflation. Again, not enough money chasing too many assets. Prices go down. Nobody cares. It's rounded. It's doing better. Okay, great. Awesome. I don't need to ever trade this. It's just a great example of something that probably shouldn't exist as a coin in its current form, in my opinion. What else does everybody want to look at? With that, on that happy note, Oliver's sure that ETH-BTC will bounce at 0.26. Let me see if I can find, where did I even put that? Is it here? There's a harmonic. Yeah, there it is. So, I don't talk about harmonics too often. They are very subjective, very like wishy-washy. There was this, what is it, a bat? Somebody can correct me. Whatever this is, bullish bat. There's some other harmonic that has a 0.25. Somebody was mentioning it to me. I don't know if it's like the crab. You'll think I'm crazy unless you look up what these are, but I can't remember what the pattern was, but just this whole chart is a yikes. It's a yikes. We need more people saying, I've had enough, counteracting the people who continuously think it's the bottom. There were people for years who were like, this is the bottom, this is the bottom. Even recently, I thought, hey, this could be a pretty good spot for a bottom. I'm not even an ETH maxi, right? Just blew through that at this point. What a gross chart. Just yikes. 0.25 would be the pivot level. Is that what Oliver said? Oliver Twist, 0.26. 0.26. 0.026. Man, that's an ugly one. That is an ugly one. It's also at the bottom of the... didn't I have a pitchfork on this thing? If you look at the comps, the comparables, the KPIs, key performance metrics, whatever, against Solana, I'm not a Solana maxi either. Both chains have tons of issues, but it's clear what people are doing right now, and they're not using ETH as much as they're using Solana. You have to jump through these hoops on as far as using layer 2s. That adds friction. People just say, whatever, I'm going to use something else. I don't have a problem using a layer 2, but I'm a crypto native who's been here for a while. There's plenty of people who, Butterfly, thank you, Martin. Plenty of people who are just like, what are you talking about, layer 2? I can just go to Solana and use the layer 1 as the layer 1, you know? So it makes sense. And BTC is, it's completely different from ETH in virtually every way imaginable. Sol ETH. Let's go here because they don't have enough data for me on the old crack-a-lackin'. Sol ETH on the weekly. Certainly not bearish. Kind of reminds me of global liquidity, doesn't it? Like we had this global liquidity. Can I pull this up? Could you imagine if Sol ETH is the same chart as global liquidity? I mean, kinda. Am I crazy? Tell me I'm crazy, chat. Tell me I'm crazy. We had this ascending triangle breakout. Liquidity breaks out first. Sol ETH goes second. Sol ETH breaks down following liquidity getting drained. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Anyway, very interesting. To me, it kind of says, where do people put their money? Like the wackiest, zaniest, most gambliest place, they're going to go to Solana. They just are. I agree with you 100%. Flying Faneur. Decentralization does not matter. That's why Sol is winning. At least to the people trading Sol versus ETH. They don't care about decentralization, right? They could care less. Sol is clearly less decentralized than ETH. Sol has downtime. Sol's validators, whatever, restart via Discord. Sol has a crazy blockchain bloat that they're going to have to deal with eventually. That's going to keep centralizing the chain. The whole thing is a mess. But the people using it don't care. They don't care. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was just me. Is Kraken down? I don't know. It says on the bottom, it says not operational. Yeah, I guess I need to talk about this one too, don't I? Did they just list this? Oh boy. There's already perpetuals on it. I don't even know which chart has the most data. Sure. I don't see anything there. Sol is the ETH on the Kelvin timeline. Link ETH, I still like. You know, it just says again, what makes more sense here from a technical perspective? This chart looks phenomenal to me. This is one of the best charts easily out there right now. It says ignore ETH, buy Link. That's what it says. It says this chart's been flat for 4 years. To me, this looks like an inverted head and shoulders. Yeah, I like Link all day. The cloud likes it on the weekly. On the weekly, the cloud likes it. You're getting whatever this is. Love it. Show this to any TradFi chartist, and they will get very excited. Doesn't M2 and ISM like feed into each other? Because I know, what is it? Paul talks a lot about ISM. No, Hypnotoad, I don't think it's a sign of froth at all, because if you noticed, so he's asking, meme coin's doing 100x if that's a sign of froth. Dominance did not go down, and Bitcoin dominance. And when that happened, all of these alts were red. Like all the liquidity moved individually from, let's say, 200 alts to one thing. So to me, that's not froth. Froth is everything moves up all at once together, versus this is like a little contained explosion, you know? Yeah, I personally don't think we've seen like close to what this market is going to become. If we look at the, this is another way, I was thinking about the alt thing, total 2 minus stables. I don't know if this even makes sense, but looking at where this was in 2021 versus now, I guess you could think of it like as a stablecoin dominance thing as well. I think that's correct. Like this, you want to be down here. Down here is more bullish than up here. There's only so much stablecoin to go around. Now there are other stablecoins you can include in this, and this graph may look different, but all the other stablecoins pale in comparison to USDT and USDC. There's also the BTC minus total 2. Everything, like, this looks even more bullish than dominance looks, right? Like, I mean, this says BTC is winning by infinity amounts, basically, relative to everything else. If total 2 is non-BTC, including stables, and BTC is still plus 650, what is that? Is that billion? Like, that's where the value is going. All right. Link ETH looks good. I like any chart that looks like this, legacy, whatever it is. Is there any other chart that to you, dear listener, you like here? Looks good to you here? Most of the meme coins don't look like anything. I think where you're going to find most bang for your buck is like the ETH relative value charts. Aave ETH already broke out a little bit. Thanks for giving Fartcoin time of day. You're welcome. AVAX, sure, let's take a look. AVAX has had great trades. However, it's mainly been lagging. That isn't to say it can't be a first mover, but if the past becomes the future, AVAX probably not going to move first. I don't know what you like about this chart in particular, but it had 2 great trades both in November 23, November 24. So set an alert on your calendar for October 15th, 2025. Hey, maybe it's time to think about AVAX, right? Like, why not? But here, I don't really see anything that is tradable up here. Yeah, Donato. Let's just look at that now so I don't forget. He's asking me about Amex. I think he asked me in the... is that right? No, what is it? AXP. He asked me in the comments too. It looks great. What is there not to like? It kind of looks like the Coco chart, doesn't it? Just kind of flat for a couple years and then boom. Is it even overbought? Is it even like, what did I do? I just messed something up. This was what? ETH-BTC? Is that correct? Hopefully. Nope. Hold on. If I don't fix this now, I'm never going to do it. Divided by that. There we go. Okay. Let's close this out so I don't mess up anything else. AXP. I mean, it looks great. Depends on where you got in, but it's literally straight up. Looks phenomenal, you know? Phenomenal. All right, AVAX. Yeah, so what is there to do here? I don't see anything on trend, on the range or in the middle of the range. I like 25, less than 30. Better. Maybe this is a falling wedge. I don't know. It's just I don't have any specific trades here. Back here, you know, it's similar to the Link ETH chart. If you're looking at a chart on an ultra high time frame and you can identify a diagonal line, a horizontal line, some sort of bottoming process, this is kind of what I thought TLT would look like, where it would bounce a little bit, but it really hasn't. So this is something to watch for. Maybe just watch this diag. Set an alert on the diag. Yeah, UniETH is another one that looked really good. Yeah. Cloud likes it. Just kind of sitting there. Now UniBTC probably doesn't look as good. Yeah. At one point I had thought some sort of IHS obviously here. Still possible, but probably takes you later on in the year if it happens. At some point I'm expecting regulatory clarity for DeFi, and that should help this chart. You think? Like if Uniswap can turn on some fee mechanism without getting hit by the SEC, you know, like you can craft the narrative where Uniswap starts to do better relative to BTC. But this is the level for sure that I would watch. 2,000 sats, is that right? 20,000 sats, whatever that is. Dave, my guy, unfortunately Monero will never really do much of anything. It just, people can't access it. Like you can trade it as a technical idea. It'll do well maybe once a cycle eventually. Until it's widely listed, I just don't think you can expect this to do much of anything. At what level historically has dominance shown the end of the cycle? So yeah, sorry, on AXP, I don't really have anything to say. I mean, it looks great. Dominance end of cycle. I think you could say if dominance declines, I mean, 2017 it declined 60%. 2021 it declined 40%. So sub 40% dominance. If we get sub 50, we're probably close to the end. If we get sub 45, closer, sub 40 is probably the end. Probably. Assuming the past repeats. Doge, I think it looks fine on the weekly. Like this looks fine to me. It's consolidating. It looks okay. It survived the Trump bear market, Trump coin bear market. But if we go to the daily, there's just nothing, you know, what actionability is there here? I don't see anything. 4 hour chop, some sort of diagonal support. I don't know. There's just really nothing going on. XCN, is that? It is on Kraken. What is this? Onyx coin. Oh boy. Oh boy. Dearest Crispy 209, you're supposed to tell me about these before they're up 60% in a day, brother. It looks okay. I wouldn't buy it here. That's just me. You know, the train left the station. Clearly. This goes back to that idea. If you can identify a diagonal, a horizontal, anything on a high time frame, at least for me, that suggests people have come to an agreement via price that the level has reached some sort of equilibrium. This didn't even need to be an ascending triangle. It's just the level was 003. It's just, if you're not here to see that, then you missed it. The other chart I would watch is anything that looks like this, where it's been down only for years and finally makes it through. That's another very good sign. So those are really the two places. If I'm going to try to pick a bottom, that's what I'm looking for. That's why I like Rivian here. Same idea. Just looks It just looks horrific, right? If we go to like the 3-day, just years of nothing, right? And you can tell me anything you want about Trump and EVs and Elon, and I don't care. I'm just looking at the chart. So it's a similar concept. Zoom, same idea, right? Zoom finally broke out a little bit. Peloton, we talk about these every week. If I'm going to try to pick a bottom, it's got to look like this. That's why if you look at the ETH BTC chart, what is there right now? What is there? Like, it just looks like death. Nothing is consolidating. It just looks like death. There's not even really a div there. It just looks horrifically awful. Maybe it bounces on the bottom of this pitchfork, but man, that's a yikes. AXP, is that Armani or is that a coin? I can't remember. Oh no, sorry. We just talked about that. Duh. Aeropod. I always chuckle at myself. I don't know where people find this stuff. And I don't know, man. They just listed this thing. I have no idea. Looks like death. It gets better above 2 cents, 3 cents, but not for me. You know, you want to see, it's like you're a talent scout. You want to see some history of success ever. Like this thing's only gone down. Oklo, yeah. A lot of the nuclear stuff is doing really well with all the investment likely coming in. I mean, it looks fine. It's just like, what do you do with it here? What do you do with it here? The problem with these charts, and whether it's crypto late cycle, whether it's some hot new stock, whether it's like QC computing, whatever it is. In this case, it's nuclear. I always feel comfortable if I'm not just taking the trade to take the trade. If I'm watching this, like if I was down here in September, I was like, okay. Not just because this is the bottom, just as an example, like we're finally back above the cloud, great, okay, right? The most recent example would be some sort of horizontal that we crossed. Okay, fine. It's like up here, I don't know, man. It's up 60% from the breakout. I don't know. It's AXP is the same. Like, yeah, it's bullish. Yeah, it's at all-time high. But what do you do here if you haven't been sitting in this thing? I don't know. Nothing. It just feels super late to me. ETC. I did see somebody posting an ETC chart. It is up 6%. You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell it's up 6%. You'd have no idea. This looks like Stellar. This looks like Litecoin. Somebody's buying these lows. I mean, it's an idea. It's got this, doesn't it? It's ETC, so you got to keep that in mind. But as an idea, that is there. That is there. And if you're on the legacy side, let me see if I can pull this up. There is an ETC trust that has a significant discount last I checked. Let me look. Grayscale, where are you? ETC, 41% discount in legacy land. I think I floated the idea of this trade last year. But if you like ETC, you're going to love it at a 40% discount. Look, this chain shouldn't exist. This trust probably shouldn't exist. Nothing about this should exist. I don't think anybody's building on this or cares about this as a trade, as an idea, there you go. ETCG, 40% discount. Maybe it gets some sort of regulatory tailwind. I doubt they convert this to an ETF ever, but what do I know? That would be your target. That's just the TA, 300%. That's just the TA target before the discount closes. I just don't know why the discount would close. Doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, what a wild series of events that would be. Other than ETC, there isn't another. Is that right? I thought the ETH. No, that's not right because that converted to ETF. There isn't another Grayscale trust, single asset trust that has a discount here. Is the train at the station when AVAX breaks 53? It's kind of less important as an individual train for AVAX. It's more important what is everybody else doing? Like, are all the other trains leaving or already left? I mean, here, if it gets above 42, you're probably good to go. 53. If we're at 53, that means Bitcoin's probably at like 150, right? Like everything is probably turbo bullish at that point. Maybe we see cup and handle stuff. It's just tough because market cap is high, inflation is high. AVAX has the same issues ETH does. It's got like this layer 2 subnet thing, whatever. People just don't want that, I don't think. Lido's going to do well when ETH does well, and ETH hasn't done so well. What is there to do here? What is this? Just garbage. ETH above 4K? Then I love Lido as a trade, but down here, I don't know. It's just endless chop. Not for me. Hype, I don't think they have that on Kraken. Let's take a look. Hype was the Trump of 2 weeks ago. You know, it straight up very quickly, kind of gave a little bit back. I don't personally see anything here for me. Is this tradable? Probably above 25? Is there like a setup brewing? Maybe an Adam and Eve? I don't know. You'd like to think that most people have sold their airdrop at this point. This did have some sort of head and shoulders back here. I still want more data. You know, if I can't see the daily cloud, then it's just really not for me. It just you haven't shaken out enough people, shook out enough people yet. KYS. Honeywell International. Boom. Let's turn on the other cloud. If I can find it. There it is. Honeywell. Looks pretty good. Little cup and handle action. Consolidating all-time highs. Not bad. It's a slow mover, but not bad. John Deere had a similar, didn't it? Yeah, it had a similar, I mean, a different type of consolidation, but wasn't there some sort of triangle thing or something going on here? Kind of. I don't think it's too late. I think on principle I couldn't buy this just based on what they're doing with the right to repair stuff. You're basically, from my understanding, they're making all the farming equipment virtually impossible to repair on your own, and so you have to use their services to repair it. Just what a nightmare that is. MSTY. Algo. Algo's another one like Link. I think it looks fine, but on the weekly. I don't think there's anything on the daily per se. But it looks okay. Trying to make its way through the cloud. Looks okay. Yeah, Arrow I looked at. Dearest Robert. I guess we haven't looked at MSTR today. Where you at, MSTR? Mine are still just abysmal. I don't care what anybody says. Not for me. MST Rizzle on the 4 hour, teasing a little inverted head and shoulders action. Still looks good. It's above the 4 hour, it's above the neckline. Gave a little back. I don't hate it. Currently I own some MSTR, so there's that. MSTY is what? Is that the yield thing? Oh my god. I don't know what the fees are on this. I don't know the mechanism. It's like some sort of covered call thing, right? It looks like the MSTR chart does. Same thing. Bullish 4 hour. MSTU fees and volatility drag are going to make this thing look not so great. But same idea. 4 hour, potentially trying to bottom here for MSTR. Yeah, Mark, he's saying if you have the huevos to hold through an MSTU drawdown, I don't think you really need to. You know, you could have used fractal stops on daily MSTR. I talked about these all the time in the trade. So here's the range back here. You don't use the stops until you break out of a range. That's very important. Okay, so you could argue, no, even down here we didn't get stopped out. If this is a trailing stop loss, you don't close anything until this day right here, right here, November 26th. Then you close out of everything and you don't look back until, at least my call is a couple days ago. But this would have saved you, even if you wait till the daily close, it would have saved you a 22% drawdown on MSTR, and it would have saved you a 52% drawdown on MSTU. Now you don't get in if you're getting in now. You don't get it back in that much better. Like, it's still a 20% differential from the trailing stop loss to the current level. So I mean, that's pretty good. And it saves you eating fees and drawdown. Anyway, that's one way to tackle it. Ross will be buying a lot of Monero. I don't know about that. Portnoy dropping a meme coin. Yeah, I saw that. I hope he loses all his money. Sorry, Dave. It needs to happen. ADA. Sorry, where was that? ADA. Weekly looks fine. Daily's kind of a mess, but everything's sort of consolidating. As long as we're above the cloud, love it. I have no complaints. No complaints. Comp. Yeah. Doesn't look horrible. I know back here we had talked a lot about a potential bottoming formation. Took another 6 months, took another year, and we're back. We're back, baby. We're back. If you liked it a year ago, you're going to love it today. Comp ETH. They don't have that chart. Comp. Someone asked me what the best ETH chart was. Probably Link ETH. Comp ETH also has this bottomy stuff. It's a Josh special right there. I have not looked at Sui. It looks fine. I don't know what the trade is. Up here, trend-wise, it looks fine. No issues. It's held stronger than almost everything. Wasn't there a like Sui Soul idea that was supposed to break out? Yeah, so that broke out. I don't think it reached any targets. Pulled back. Yeah, the target was way up there. That's why it's tough trading these indirect pairs like this. Sui looks great. Sui, however you say that. I think it's Sui. Looks great on the USD pair. Say. Oh boy. Oh boy. Not a fan of that one. You're hoping that this is a falling wedge or something? There's kind of a divergence there. But man, I do not like playing down here in no man's land. TIA's the same. It just waiting to break lows to me. To me, it just looks ready to go deeper. Dearest Robert, no one cares about Aerobud, buddy. I'm sorry, they just don't, man. They just don't. Oklo is a non-functional nuclear reactor. SMR? What is it? NMR? I forget what the... I don't think they actually have any functional plants or anything yet. Any thoughts on your... I can't even get it out. Any thoughts on National Geographic story on why monkeys are trying to mate with... I can't even get it out. XRP ETH. There's a chart. And it's like, what do you do here? Clearly it's been bullish. What's the setup? What's the idea? I don't know. It just looks straight up. What do you do? It's late. I think at one point ETC was run by Hoskinson. I don't know if it still is. You have to double check that. I forget the name of the company. Something IO. EGO. Thanks for the Supermax. EGO. You said it's a legacy. Yeah, gold's looked great. Gold's looked really good. This does not look as good as gold does to me. Maybe some sort of wedge, but man, you are not in a bull trend. You're not in Kansas anymore, my friend. Some sort of bull div. I think AEM may be better. I don't know if there's a trade there per se, but it's bullish. It looks better than that other one. What's the Vanek miners thing? GDX? Yeah. How does this look? Same. Just kind of not super bullish. Ray's been a member for 9 months. Damn. Damn. Curve. Sure, Anthony. Curve. Thanks for the support, Ray. Curve. This is either a descending triangle, which maybe it's a flag. It's on the bearish side of the cloud. So you got to be careful there. It's also, it was plus 400% in 2 months. You got to be careful about that one. Best way for small accounts to become big. Not punting alts every week, I can tell you that. Not that that's what you're doing, Chris. But, you know, the best thing you can do is just be here multiple cycles. Wait for the high conviction trades. I mean, this week, last week, the week before, there's kind of nothing really going on. The best way to get big is to not trade when you shouldn't be trading. You know, if your system that is successful on backtesting isn't giving you any trades or ideas, then the answer is you just do nothing. You do nothing, and when the time comes, you're ready to go and you know what to do. That's how you get big. You get big by sizing anything in 2023 appropriately. 2024, there was like 2 trades realistically on BTC. In end of 2024, if you weren't like all in post-election, pre-election, waiting for this move, it's hard to, you know, if you're constantly missing out on stuff like this because you're focused on alts or you're focused on whatever else, or you're focused on some low time frame thing, it's very hard to do well over the long term if you're missing these huge moves. So if you want to get big, I would do less. Do less. Yeah, Matic. I think Matic's issue is also coin issuance. If we go to the Kraken chart, I don't know if Paul, they changed their ticker. I don't know what they are now. I mean, again, there's just nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing there, unfortunately. All right, any last requests before we get out of here? QD, Chinese, something. Ooh, we looked at this for some reason. Okay. Cheech. Everybody in the chat needs to be more like Cheech. Don't try to sell me your bags. Show me your favorite setups. That's how you are a winner in my eyes. So Cheech gets king of the day for showing me this one. This chart looks great, and clearly maybe he asked me at some other week at some point, but this is what I like. Multiple years. This is a 5-year pattern. Love it. It's China, so you got to be careful, but can't deny the tech here. I'm going to look when we're done what this actually is, but that looks good. H-bar. Yeah, a certain company applied for an ETF. I can't discuss that, but I think that's why, one of the reasons why H-bar has done so well since that time period. Up here, trend-wise, again, you got to be careful of anything that's positive 800% in 2 months. Got to be careful. Got to be careful. The cloud is telling me that bearish TK cross coming up here. If this can reconsolidate at or above a nickel, sorry, not a nickel, a quarter, then I like it. But you got to be careful. You've got people who've been holding this thing for a very long time, probably selling into this. I don't think it hit an all-time high. Yeah, you've got people with overhead resistance effectively, right? Where they're like, okay, we're close enough to 2021. I'm probably going to sell into this. So you got to kind of let that pass. See if you get people buying what they're selling effectively to allow this to consolidate up here. So I would just be really careful at these levels. Chinese tech looks great. Yeah, what is it? FXI? Is that the one? Large cap China. Daily. Kind of a mess. What was the Chinese internet? KWeb. KWeb is still, man, I remember talking about this thing probably in 2022. It's still gone nowhere. It's literally the same price. Literally the same price. Now, will I try again if this breaks 30? Probably, because I love losing money. But, man, that's a rough. That is rough. I do have an EV list. EH still looks good to me. That's South Korean? Chinese? I'm not sure. QS. Lying in wait down there. Neo, I'd be careful with, not quite ready. Lucid, not quite ready. Polestar, not quite ready. Plug, someone gave me a shout out on that one. Still not quite ready, but trying. Yeah, maybe next week I'll look at Chinese tech for the setups. I don't know what replay is, Marcos, but I can check. Is that this? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like, we'll look at anything and talk about anything, but this is not a chart for me. Replay. It's probably the wrong one. I don't know. No, that's got to be it, right? I don't know. I don't know. Not for me. Corsair? Is that the memory people? Yeah. Memory people, gaming people, something. Okay. All right. Steven. I like it. See, this is what all the alt people need to realize. Like, you don't just sit in a penny stock hoping it goes from 1 penny to 2 pennies. That's not trading. That's gambling. You can make money gambling. You can do really well gambling, but that's not what I do. So I don't really have any information to help you there. What I am better at is finding stuff like this or looking at stuff like this and saying it's been down only for like 2 years, 3 years. Cloud is telling you it looks bullish for the first time in a long time. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Chinese ETF up 6. Tech. What, Martin, do you have a good ticker for that? Tech ETF, China Tech? Just so I know what to look at. Chinese Tech? Is this it? No. What is it? What would it even be? I'll have to look. I'll have to look what that would be in the ETF form. Crane shares might have something. All right, last thing, we'll take a look at uranium. Looks good. Looks really good. I am very bullish on a nuclear future, so I hope this continues to do well. Whether or not that bleeds into price, I don't know, but chart looks very good on the daily. 3-day, 2-day, it's back at highs, it's consolidated. Looks good. Isn't there a, what's the yield on this? Dividend. I think there's a dividend there. Thanks, Donato. That's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you are listening to the recording, want me to look at anything, let me know in the comments. And we'll talk to you for Setup Sunday. Take care.